really crazy. It's not often that you have a woman who is a critic of feminism, but we have one just for you. Karen Straughan is with us. She's an advocate for men's rights, and she's best known for her infamous YouTube channel, Girl Writes What? What's happening, Karen? How are you? Thanks for joining us.
It's a sunny day, but the leaves are turning, and where I am,
all the leaves are brown, the skies are gray.
I'm in Edmonton. That's central Alberta. It's north of the 49th, and so our seasons are well, we have two seasons: winter and construction. And construction season is always really short.
So let me ask you this. You are a critic of feminism, and it's rare that you see women out there who are critics of feminism, but I know they exist. It's not a complete unicorn. You really have your views on this. And this whole Netflix thing with the Cuties, and I started watching it, and I'm like, Jesus, what are we doing here? It looks like it's really hitting Netflix in the pocketbook, isn't it?
I think so. I'm not the boycott type. I think the last time that I was encouraged to boycott was that toxic masculinity Gillette commercial that came out a couple of years ago, and just absolutely maligned everything about men that makes them men and everything about boys that makes them boys. But it really is, and it should hit them in the pocketbook. The movie itself is absolutely atrocious, and they say it. Oh, we were making a broader point, and it's like, okay, so yeah. If I were to operate, if I wanted to do a documentary on animal abuse, I wouldn't actually set up situations on, where I'm abusing animals to demonstrate how animals are abused, right? I wouldn't do that, right?
Then you'd be Karen Exotic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So.
Karen, let me ask you this. It's the strangest thing how, here in the U.S., the progressive left is trying to creep in, child sex into a lot of weird places. And recently in California, they passed Senate Bill 145 that said if a predator has sex with a child as young as 14, but they're within 10 years of each other, they don't have to register as a sex offender. You know about this bill? Do you hear about it?
Yeah, it's a little more complicated than that.
I understand the LGBTQ. I understand the LGBTQ implications of it, that sodomy and oral intercourse is prohibited still under the California laws. I get that part. But the 10-year range makes it, to me, just because you're LGBTQIA, you don't get a right to go to a kid under 18, in my view.
Agreed. And what they did was they essentially equalized the standard between heterosexual sex and sodomy.
That part good.
Right, which would be fine if they equalized it in the upward direction, where it's like, yes, so now everybody has to be mandatorily placed on the sex offender registry, as opposed to equalizing them downward to the lower standard, where it's up to the judge's discretion whether you belong on the registry or not. That's really what I have no problem with them equalizing the two standards between, how do feminists call it, penis and vagina sex versus sodomy and oral sex. I have no problem with them equalizing that. I just have a problem with them equalizing it in the direction that they did, which was to lower the standard and make it so that everybody has a chance to not be on the registry.
Understood. And for those of you who haven't been following this closely with us, in California, this guy, appropriately named Scott Wiener, endorsed by Kamala Harris, as put forth this Senate Bill 145, which was signed by Gavin Newsom. And there's this old common law in California where anything other than man-woman intercourse, anal, oral, other things, is illegal, technically. So people who are LGBTQIA, they don't have that option in every case. So it can't be illegal for them to pursue their sexual provocation. It just doesn't make sense. But explain to me, because I don't understand, and you seem to know a lot about this. How is it okay for someone who's over 18 to have sexual relations with someone who's as young as 14? I have a 14-year-old son. It sounds creepy.
You know, I am in favor broadly of Romeo and Juliet laws, and they tend to be, you know, when two people are close in age and they are in a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, that you don't have the statutory rape thing kicking in because one of them turned 18 and the other one was, you know,
17 or 16. Younger. Yes, that I understand. But 14 and a 10-year range on 14 sounds like adult child to me. It doesn't sound like Romeo and Juliet. It sounds like a horror movie. Be honest with you. Absolutely.
10 years is way too much. And, you know, and one thing about this bill is it places it in the judge's discretion. So if the judge really does think that this is a predator grooming a child, an underage child, then, you know, you do have the situation where the judge can force them onto the registry. But the issue is that this is California, and judges in California are probably not exactly the greatest.
No, I get that. And I just feel like, hey, I'm a grown man. I'm 52 years old. I coached high school football for years. If some 24-year-old needed to have relations with a 14-year-old, I think they need some mental help, to be honest with you. And you know, they should be. They said this is to protect the people in the community, but it seems like to me it protects the alleged offender. And not having them sign up for the registry kind of puts maybe a whole neighborhood at risk by not letting everyone know there's someone with this proclivity there.
Agreed. And, you know, but this is nothing new for the left. I read a paper that was written by a feminist academic back in 1986 that she was arguing that child sexual liberation was going to be the next wave of the sexual liberation movement. And that means sex between children and adults. And, you know, I'm reading it and I'm going like, this got published in a journal. And I'm just stunned. I'm stunned by.
Yeah, it's been stunning to me. That's why I've been researching it and trying to find out a little more and more, because I just don't understand it. But thank you for helping us break it down, Karen. I really appreciate it. Karen Straughan.
You're welcome.
The infamous YouTube channel, Girl Writes What? You may have seen me gesturing in that segment. Today is National Ice Cream Cone Day. I don't know, these guys are giving me hand signals. All right, it's National Ice Cream Cone Day. We're going to come back and wrap up the show right after this.